My name is Laura, and I'm starting this YouTube channel, Prairie Equestrian, to document my equestrian life. So today I'm going to start off with a riding story. So I started riding when I was about 9 years old in 2009. I had a pony ride when I was about 5-ish, like just led around on a little pony for like 10 minutes. And that was my horsey experience then. But then when I was 9 years old, some friends of mine decided to buy a horse, and they had had some previous horse experience. The mom is a trainer, so they wanted a place to board it, and we live on a farm, so they wanted to see if they could board their horse here. And my parents said that if they could give me riding lessons, then they could board their horse here for free. So that's how I met Cinnamon. So Cinnamon was a dun, buckskin, one of those two, quarter horse mare. She was probably about 14.2, 14.3 hands. I'll insert a photo. And yeah, so she was 26 or 25 when we got her. So she'd been used as a mountain horse, like in the trails, so she was very, very broke. She was honestly kind of dead broke, but like it was perfect for me to learn on. She was safe, everyone could ride her. You had no problems with her. But the only thing was that she could get a little bit lazy, so you had to have a crop with you all the time, but we didn't mind that. So she was a perfect confidence builder, perfect lesson horse. She was just perfect for us. And I learned to ride Western, actually. I ride English now, but I learned to ride Western. And I had my very first gallop on Cinnamon in the ditch along our country road. I had my first gallop. It was really, really fun. And yeah, so we had her for about 4 or 5 years, till about 2014, I think, something around there. And then in 2013, I wanted my own horse. My dad was at his work, and he found on Kijiji a mare for sale, a 3-year-old filly, Welsh Arab cross, beautiful bay horse, for sale for very cheap, and he was looking for himself so he could come ride with me. But then he realized she was too small for him. She was about 13.2 hands at the time. And yeah, she was quite small, and she was very green. She had only had a few rides on her. So, but we went to look at her, and for me, and the friend's mom came with us. She was my trainer at the time. So we went to look at her, and I fell in love instantly. She was very petite, very small, and so the bareback pad we brought didn't really fit her. There was about this much room between her belly and the girth. So she did wonderful for me. I had a little English saddle that I borrowed from a friend and used on her. And again, it was probably about this much, well, maybe about this much give between the girth and her stomach. And I didn't trot her or anything. I just walked around by myself on her, and she was amazing for me. She was just like so good. And then my trainer got on her, and she pushed her, and there was a stick poking up about this high from the ground, and the girth caught on it, and Sparkle, that's her name, she freaked out and threw her off. Not bucked her off, but she fell off because the girth was too loose. But yeah, it just spooked her a little bit. She wasn't used to that having happened on her stomach. So that was interesting. But yeah, so then after that, we were on the way home, and we're just like, I don't know, she's a little green for what we were hoping for. But then the next day, my mom, she she talked to my trainer and they decided that she would be a good project for me. So I was 13 at the time, and it was an early birthday present. We went to see her in like early April. My birthday's in May. So we bought her at the end of April, and she was my very first horse. And yeah, so that's how I got Sparkle. I still have her. She is 10 years old now, and she is so much better. I ride her English. I sometimes ride her Western, but yeah. So then after that, we had Cinnamon for another year probably after that, and then she slipped and broke her pelvis, so I had to put her down, sadly. She was one of the best horses I've ever ridden. She was so calm, and you could do anything on her, she wouldn't care. You could slide off her butt and she wouldn't care. The only thing that happened is when they were giving her, they gave her some kind of shot for something, and she had a little seizure. She would kind of like, she would almost weave, but with her back feet. Like, she'd go like this, and like this, and like this, and like this. It was very strange. I don't know exactly what was happening, but yeah, we had to put her down in 2014 around Easter. So yeah, but then probably 2015, I went to a horse riding camp, got to ride a bunch of different horses. It was a 5-day camp. So the first day I rode a big bay OTTB, off-track thoroughbred. His name was Murphy. He was a really, really beautiful horse. He was probably about 16'2". 16 to 16'2", I'm not exactly sure. The next day I rode a fjord gelding. Not sure how tall he was, probably 15-ish. And his name was Chris. And he stopped to pee when I was on him. It was quite funny. I thought he was gonna like roll or something, and I'm like, do I have to get off or whatever? But he was just peeing. And the third day I rode a horse, I think it was like a black horse, quarter horse kind of horse, called Dakota. I think she was a mare. I think it was a mare. And these are all English, by the way. I had started getting into English riding a little bit. So then the last 2 days I rode a beautiful, gorgeous chestnut gelding named Spud. And he was probably about 15'3", 16 hands. He was pretty tall for me. Used to a 14'2" hand quarter horse and a 14 hand Willera, which is what Sparkle is. She's 14 hands tall. And yeah, Spud, they said he was more for advanced riders, but he took care of me. He was one of the most awesome horses I've ever ridden. Of course, it was 5 years ago, so I don't exactly remember everything, but I do have a photo of him. I don't know if I can find it. I have no clue where it is, but if I find it, I'll attach it. But yeah, he was beautiful. I loved him so much. So there was that camp, and then a few years later I went to a lesson. So yeah, so I rode a horse for, I don't remember his name. He was a Palomino quarter horse. He was about 15'2" hands. We were testing out to see if we could do 4-H, and then I ended up not being interested. So then I went back home and worked with Sparkle, and she's honestly another one of the best horses I've ever ridden. She's just so good. She's a beautiful horse. I love her so much. And yeah, I did jump Cinnamon a little bit when we had her, and I used to jump Sparkle quite a lot. We don't have a fancy indoor arena or anything. We don't even have an outdoor arena. We just ride in the field in our pasture. But yeah, I used to jump Sparkle a little bit. I've been free jumping her recently. I really wanted to do dressage with her, but I think with COVID right now is not the best time to go looking for a trainer that you don't know. For me anyway, but that would definitely be something of interest in the future. So yeah, I really enjoyed jumping Sparkle. She jumps big. She's quite the little jumper. She's not like fancy or anything, but she's pretty good at jumping. She likes it, I think. And fun fact about Cinnamon, she hated apples for some weird reason. Like, I would have a grass bed in my hand, and then I would hide the apples underneath it, and she would pick them out and spit them out. It was so weird. I do not know how she knew there were apples there. It was just so funny. But then Sparkle used to hate them as well, but I tried feeding her one a month ago, and she loved it. Hope you enjoyed the video. See you next time. Bye!